Hi everyone, Lisa here, and today we're going to talk about the topic of reinvention. Almost everywhere I look, I'm finding people are reinventing themselves. Companies are reinventing themselves. And what is behind this whole movement? The idea of reinvention could be overwhelming. It sounds like this major project or this big overhaul. It's combining the idea of where we are now versus where we want to go. And a lot of times we don't even know where that is. But what people know is they don't like the feeling of where they are now, and they want to do something to change it. So if you think reinvention is an overwhelming idea, I'd like to invite you to consider this. Each day, we have an opportunity to reinvent ourselves. The person that you knew yesterday that existed yesterday is now a memory to you. But every day you have new opportunities. You have a chance to come into your life with a new attitude. What are you going to do with it? The last episode, we talked about how the poly crisis is sparking reinvention, and people are waking up to ask, is this all there is? So today I want to talk about what is reinvention and why are people doing it? It's acknowledging that where you are now is not where you want to stay. It's looking at the possibilities of the life you could live versus the current one you've created for yourself. So what does reinvention require of us? It's being curious and open to new possibilities. The stories that we've heard and created about ourselves, what people have told us, those may no longer be true. We change. The marketplace changes. The people we serve have different problems, and they have new priorities. So peeling back the layers to discover what no longer fits and breaking free from that straitjacket of life we find ourselves in is part of that process of reinvention. This desire for change has the potential to lead us to take these new risks, explore new paths, and birth new visions for our lives. We have the chance to embrace our genius, and it's about aligning ourselves to who we really are. We are listening to our restlessness, this desire for freedom, and finding the courage to live authentically in a way that honors our uniqueness. This movement I see suggests that we're in the evolutionary threshold and we're being asked to let go of our security blankets, to break away from the behaviors that keep us from being vulnerable. And everything that puts us in our comfort zone is something that doesn't allow us to grow. It's bringing this breath of fresh air into our lives. It's inspiring people who have been doing the same thing for years or even decades, who one day decide that they want to do something different. And that's okay. There's no rule book that says what you went to school for, trained for, even started in your first job is what you have to do for the rest of your life. This desire for change has the potential to lead people to grow even more than they ever thought possible if they're willing to take one step out of their comfort zone. By taking these new risks, their lives can be so much more expansive, and they can live abundantly than they ever thought possible. But some people may think about, I don't know if I really want to do this. They may be hesitant. They may get pushed back from what other people think. People who don't understand what's driving them inside. We have people that are around us that are going to look at reinvention as, what's wrong with the life that you're living now? You seem to be doing fine. Or they tell you that it's not really smart to go that direction. They may not have the courage to do what it is that you want to do. And they may also be concerned how you're going to change. Why do people think about reinventing themselves? Well, I've got several reasons why I want to unpack with you. The first one will come as no surprise, but that is personal growth. Human beings have this innate desire to grow, improve, and change. When we feel like we're stuck, we don't like how that feels, and so we want to get out of that current situation. If you look around our world, there is no lack of talk about self-improvement. The health and wellness industry is doing quite well, and it's not going to slow down anytime soon. And the drum that we used to beat about hustle and grind, if you listen, it's turning into a new rhythm. It's about self-care and putting ourselves first so we have the energy to fuel ourselves to be able to help others and bring our best selves to the situation. We have so many self-improvement apps now that help people control their anxiety, get better sleep, and become more present and focused. And if you are an entrepreneur, the one thing I know is your business success can be directly tied back to your personal development. If you don't like where you are, if you are unfulfilled and the idea of reinvention comes up, it could be really exciting to help you achieve your personal aspirations. So that first reason of personal growth is also added to when we bring in life transitions. If you're moving to a new city, or you've had a career or life status change, or maybe you've suffered a loss, this can trigger the opportunity for us to reassess our values, our priorities, and our identities. Who is it that we really are? And lead us to take on new paths. This other reason for change is really what I talked about in last week's episode, and that's adaptation to change, this idea of reinventing ourselves. When the ground under us gets shaky, how do we stay relevant? How do we navigate these changes? And how can we make sure that we continue to be relatable? The next reason why people may reinvent themselves is that of self-discovery. People love taking personality assessments and learning about themselves, but exploring these different aspects of who you are can be part of the reinvention journey. We may feel this need to reinvent ourselves when we discover a new talent or a new aspect of our personality. Another reason why people may end up reinventing themselves is they come to a challenge. And overcoming that challenge, rather than backing into a corner and saying, I'm going to live with it, it lights a fire under them. It sparks something new. It can help you develop new skills and attitudes and perspectives. One of my favorite reasons why people reinvent themselves is that of authenticity. That will come as no surprise to you. They are no longer willing to settle for living someone else's story. They are willing to be more authentic and align with their core beliefs and their desires. And the last reason why people may be reinventing themselves is that of the social influences. If you look around, we see it all around us. People are reinventing themselves, improving, taking on new roles, and seeing others undergo those transformations. They may want to do it too. They're seeking validation from those social circles of all these people making changes in their lives. So when you hear all of this, a lot of things go into the idea of why people may be reinventing themselves. But it all comes down to the human desire for growth and the ability to come home to yourself. So if you got this far, I hope you got what you needed. And if you're enjoying this content, please leave a review or subscribe to the show. It's how more people can find us, and it's how you'll be sure to hear other people's reinvention stories and how they got to where they did. If you're interested in exploring this topic of reinvention, be sure to check out my website and also reach out to contact me. I'm planning on an introductory session to help people get started to understand if reinvention might be the next step for them. Until next week, go chase your passion, share it with purpose, and show up as the real you with your personal brand of integrity. That's how you live a life of so much more on the way to discovering your legendary self.